One day when I was teaching Sunday school in Houston, they had one day you must know what kalpim is. I said, okay, no, please don't ask me, I don't know what kalpa is. So kalpa is an indefinite period of time. And then, so in Jainism, because Jainism predates Buddhism, so Indra would still be there in Jain texts. And then he got his power further reduced when he was incorporated into Buddhism. But there's a secret, and that's what we are coming to now. Now, by the time he was incorporated into Buddhist pantheon, Indra was no longer the sky father of the sky, and he was still cosmic. He's still cosmic, but he was given a much lower cosmic status. And then what happened? Indra came to be in Buddhism. Indra came to be identified as the patron deity. And years ago, I happened to read a very interesting article by it's an American scholar. He compares Santa Claus and Indra, because especially children and people, and they consider Santa not human. He is not human, and he is not fully cosmic either. But he is divine. So, and then in terms of how he patronizes, to him Santa is a patron deity. So in Buddhism, so the Indra, even though Indra kept losing his cosmic status, getting demoted, so that getting reduced to a sensual deity. He was the highest one, and he fell well below all the Brahma worlds. Right? There are 16 Brahma worlds, and finally he ended up not even in the the sixth heaven. He was the king of the highest heaven in Jainism, but when it comes to Buddhism, there are 6 heavens. He was the king of the 2 lowest heavens, first and second. And there's a reason. And he came to an also a chakra, as some of you mentioned. Chakra is Sanskrit. Chakra is Pali. The guardian deity. Why is it called guardian deity? Now, the interesting part of the story is the new status, the new position that Chakra was assigned with, new duty. He was given a duty of which he is supposed to look at the human world, and whenever the good people, the innocent people suffer, and he would come to their rescue. All the stories, and because in Buddhist literature you have come up with that whenever the righteous, that's the exact phrase translated from Pali. When the righteous are in trouble, Chakra would come and help them, and then he would feel it, because his cosmic throne get heated up, and he would feel extreme heat. He would no longer be able to sit, and he would just jump off his seat, and then see, and that's when he sees some righteous human beings are suffering and going through, and then he would disappear from heaven, come down to the earth and help. So that's the position. Now, do you see the fascinating point here? because now Buddhism is humanistic. Right? Is humanistic. So Shakra is given a new position as a deity, as a patron of not of other gods, but of humans. So that is why Shakra is very near and dear to Buddhists. But they hardly use the word Indra. Just like Brahminical scholars call their creator god Brahman by removing Indra. By the time he was incorporated into Buddhism, Indra would only remain an alternative, like a nickname, so that he would be recognized as Shakra. By the way, if you go with the older conception, and it would be troublesome for you. It would be a building block to perceive Shakra as a patron deity. That's one of the smartest things that religious scholars, interpreters do. Sometimes some scholars over the religious history, and they would when they reinterpret texts, they would choose a different medium. When they choose a different language to rewrite the text, and they can very easily remove the characteristics, whatever that the god, those deities or those figures used to have, and so that they should be able to attribute new characteristics. So it's a universal pattern. So that's what happened to Chakra. The Chakra is represented even today when in Buddhism, especially in Southern Buddhism, Theravada Buddhism. And then, but interestingly, in Theravada Buddhist countries, you hardly see a statue of Chakra or Indra. There are other gods. Then I asked some monks and some scholars why. They said to me that Chakra at times manifests through other minor gods. See a different pantheon then again. So within Buddhism again, Chakra is the highest god. So Indra is the highest god. So that it is like a different pantheon again. So it's like a different universe that is ruled by Chakra. Yes.
Is he still subject to rebirth?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then it's interesting how the kalpa that term means indefinite period of time in Buddhism and Hinduism, but it looks like it's a heavenly.
Yeah. He's subject to death and rebirth.
The second concept was kalpa.
And that's when it comes to certain Jataka stories and Buddha's birth stories, and Buddha says that I was Chakra during this period. I was a social worker, especially Maga Manavaka, Jataka. Maga the social worker. And then so that he was very famous young man, and he would sacrifice his personal wealth to help the poor, and then so that the king didn't like him. Why? He thought that now that the Maga was so popular, one day he would invade his kingdom. That is the chronic fear that kings have. They always think that sometimes they are going to be invaded. Then what happens was, so now he was wrongfully, Maga and his people were wrongfully accused of doing illegal activities, unlawful activities. So what happens was, the king ordered Maga be crushed to death by his royal elephant, and so that they were when they were asked to lie down, no, I think they were buried neck deep. Yes, they were buried neck deep, and then the royal elephant was asked to crush their heads, to kill them. And the royal elephant refused to step in. Even if the royal Mahout punished, tortured the royal elephant to do that. But the elephant wouldn't kill, he wouldn't move. And then the mother told everyone else, we didn't anything wrong. We only wanted to help the poor. Actually, we did help the king by doing what he was supposed to do. So we have no motive to invade the kingdom. So that this is our last moment of life. And now that the elephant is refusing to step over our head, and then do metta and close your eyes, and then so the royal elephant ran away. He couldn't stay there. And that is when the king asked him what happened, and then the king would and he would stop he would cancel the capital punishment. And that's when, according to the Jataka story, mother was reborn into heaven as the next chakra, next Indra. Because Indra is not a permanent cosmic deity according to Buddhism. Anyone. Within Buddhism, no matter how high the position is, cosmic position is, as long as all the person you have benefit and pension, I don't know, maybe social security, somehow the position is temporary.
So it's a title just like that, Buddha.
Yeah. So that he was born, and that time, Chakra, mother was none other than the Bodhisattva himself, and upon that he was reborn into heaven as the next chakra. And Buddha said, I used to be chakra as well. There could be many chakras, many Indras coming. Because the Indra would position after living his heavenly life, he will come back to humanity or maybe even animal form based on action, based on your last thought moment. So the last thought moment thing is used to put everyone, all beings in the same position. There's no permanent cosmic positions in Buddhist pantheon. There could be many more chakras, and there could be a new chakra nowadays. If I'm, as a Buddhist, if I'm then looking at chakra as a devotional person, probably, just forget my academic ideas, anything, see I'm in the temple now, and then I will say, whosoever the chakra is now, please come down to earth and help me. That's what I would say. Whosoever that chakra is, probably there's a different chakra. Probably the chakra that ruled heaven when I was a child is no more. Probably there's another one. So that's what, because samsaric status versus cosmic status. These are the two terms, cosmic status versus samsaric status.
You've got Indra's in that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Indra's yeah.
Indra's in that, the story of the new drop on the net.
Yeah, the Indrajala.
Reflects that.
Mm-hmm. Reflects everything, yeah. You can tell the story, yeah.
I don't know that well, sorry.
Indrajala. Even today you call Indrajala in Sanskrit. That is, Indrajala in Sanskrit is it's an alternative term for magic. Magic. Jala is the net. We talk about Indrajala and Brahmajala. Two sutras. Hindus talk about Indrajala. Buddhists talk about Brahmajala. Net of the Brahmas. It's one of the longest Buddhist sutras. Next semester when we talk about the Buddhist Genesis story, we will touch upon Indra and Brahma again. By the way, from the next semester, I'm going to give you a handout. I will have handout printed, key terms, in addition to the terms getting written on the board. Then I will prepare a handout in advance, key terms, key ideas in bullet form. Because next class is going to be very rich with terminology. This class is a prelude to the next one. You don't have to make much effort to memorize the terms and hear. You only need to remember the background actually. You will make the use of whatever the knowledge you get from this class next semester. because when you describe doctrinal concepts and all that, probably you will need to know, you must should acquire the background knowledge, reasonable background. So that's why, even though I purposely avoided mentioning certain terms, because otherwise it would be too much for you. It will be too heavy. Maybe it's already too heavy because of my free fall nature. Free fall. So that I'm not coming down in a pipe or something. When I am skydiving and I'm just going to the sides and then again like this. So that's called free fall, right? So and don't worry about the terms here, so that you will enjoy the exam. Usually students say they enjoy the class but they hate the exam. But what if it is made to be other way around? And you can tell me, okay, no exam then at all, right? So, an Indra literally meaning power then. So Indriya, now we are coming to the Buddhist Sutra. Now, when you explain, according to an earliest Vedic definition of Indriya, it was the representation, the parts or the constituents of the Indra's power. That would also include his weapons and his might, his weapons and all that. Because Indra had the chakra, and he's a chakra. When he wanted to attack someone, he would put the chakra in motion. It would keep rolling and cutting through anyone who is Indra's enemies. So that Indra was not an ethical god according to Hinduism. Early Indra was not, he was a bad guy. At times he was depicted as ruthless. Probably because being the highest god, he had to act. And he said that according to earliest commentaries, Vedic commentaries, he happened to do so because he was actually those characteristics, the warrior-like characteristics were that Indra had came from Persia, from the Avesta period. He was at times he would be ruthless. He would be like a warrior. So that's why when warriors invaded India, and then from Persia to India, then they would perform sacrifice in the name of Indra. So the Indra would, according to some scholars, they would even offer meat and other things as part of sacrifice to Indra. But he became completely a virtuous god by the time he entered Buddhism. And then he was so good that he wouldn't do anything else other than going to his park on daily basis with his Charitiya Matali, his park Nandana, N-A-N-D-A-N-A. According to Buddhist literature, his park name is Nandana. And then other than going to the park for a break, he was full-time involved in helping the human world. So that's why he became the patron deity of humanity. See how, see the way Indra was welcomed back with the new position, and probably even though his power, his his authority is spread in a limited cosmic area, but his duties are now specific, and then so he's enjoyed for it. It's like someone, you are the CEO, you of a big company, and you got kicked out, and so at first you were sad. Somehow you had your own capital and you invested your own money at bank loan, and somehow you started a small scale business. so that you don't have many customers worldwide. Your business is regional, small scale, but you make profit. You are well to do. You don't need to be a bigger person once again. So at the same time, and the previous company tortured you, and you never want anyone else to go, and you help other entrepreneurs as well. So look at Indra like that. That's what happened to Indra. He became much closer to humanity. Even though he lost his position as a cosmic deity, he became near and dear humanity. So that is why he, in a smart way, is absorbed invited into the Buddhist pantheon. Now, and then if I were the chakra, and then I would do my presentation on myself. We all did in school, right? Then I would say, I am much happier than when I was the father of the sky. So I'm much happier. When I talked about Indra, one of my uncles who is very serious, I think it's not good that you talk bad about him, because he must be listening to you and he can even punish. I think as far as I understand Chakra, if you are listening to me, I know you like fun. I'm not insulting him. So now that is the reason. What is important here is not that he lost his cosmic position, but that he became much closer to humanity.
He changed.
He changed, yeah. He was no longer ruthless one, and he is full-time dedicated to helping human beings. And so the Indriya is constitute whatever represented Indra's power is called Indriya. But when it comes to Pali, Indriya has nothing to do with his power. Indriya means, literally, Indriya means limbs. Limbs or organs. In Buddhism, Indriya means organs. My eye is an Indriya. My ears are Indriya, sense faculties. So in Buddhism, Indriya means sense faculties, not really sense faculties, limbs or organs. So let's say I don't have hands, I don't have legs, I don't have eyes. Let's say, suppose due to birth defects, I don't have limbs. See, I'm powerless, right? I can't see. I hardly smell. I'm deaf, I don't hear. I can't move because I don't have limbs, legs and feet, and then hands and arms and hands. So Indriya means organs in Buddhism. Not whatever represents cosmic or Indriya's power. So, and see the way Indra is getting internalized, like humanized, slowly, from the cosmic level into the human level, and further internalize and say, my heart is Indriya, everything is Indriya. And then what happens in the Indriya Bhavana Sutra? Bhavana is meditation. There's a kind of meditation on Indriya, that is on our sense faculties and sense objects. Now there's a vast big difference between that type of meditation in Hinduism and Buddhism. 2:37. We need to break it. 2:45. Now, according to this sutra discourse, Indriya Bhavana Sutra, in the Majjhima Nikaya, middle length sayings, there was a dialogue between disciples of a well-known Brahmin called Parasari. So when Buddha was now resting, and that disciple of a well-known Brahmin called Parasari paid a visit to Buddha. And then after chit-chat, Chit-chat is recommended thing in Buddhism. All the sutras in Buddhism start with Samiji Kata, meaning chit-chat. After a chit-chat, Buddha would never start a critical dialogue without a chit-chat. How are you, where are you coming from, and are you hungry, thirsty? So they had a chit-chat, and it's called Samiji Kata. Samiji means chit. And then Kata means chat. So, and then now Buddha is asking Parasari, Brahmin Parasari student, is it true, my friend, that your teacher also teaches Indriya Bhavana, meditation on Indriyas, meaning sense faculties? Yes sir, he does. How does he teach? And then now the Parasari's disciple is answering, well, my teacher, my guru says, you need to block your eyes from interacting with images. You have to block your ears from listening to sounds. You have to block your nose from smelling, interacting with smell. You have to block your tongue interacting with taste and all that. And then Buddha said, okay, in that sense, those who are born blind and deaf, I guess they don't have to practice religion, because they are permanently blocked from interacting with, their senses are permanently blocked from interacting with sense objects. And then says that he was then red-faced and no answer. And then, okay, so how do you teach that? You also teach, right? Yes, my friend, I do. Tell me how you teach meditation on Indriyas. So, and then he said, and that was the discussion throughout the sutra. And then, but the bottom line there is, it's not total or partial avoidance of interaction between sense faculties and sense objects. It is a mindful interaction between sense faculties and sense objects. Because you cannot, again, think about the term upekha that we discussed yesterday. So we can't avoid interaction with the world that we are part of. But we need to be mindful. Interaction cannot be avoided, otherwise there's no life for us. So interaction continues. Interaction is something that's natural. But what we need to do is, when we have to be mindful, when our eyes capture images, our ears capture sounds, and our nose captures smell, as our tongue, palate captures taste, and our skin captures anything tangible, pleasant or unpleasant. So that is basically sensual pleasure. Buddha uses one term, sensual pleasure, that also includes sensual pain. Why? Our fundamental purpose of interaction with the world is to make ourselves happy. So we are equipped with the five powers. That's how we enjoy our life. What are our five powers? Five mights or powers: our eyes, nose, ears, tongue, and skin. So that is the powers. Those five confirms our ability, help us sustain our ability within our physical body. And then after the discussion, then Buddha slowly moves into mention of another body, that is our spiritual body. And Buddha says, of your spiritual body also there are five powers: spiritual body and physical body. See, that with his mention, through his mention of the power of the spiritual body, what Buddha does is, Buddha says that even if you believe there's a cosmic deity called Indra, but actually Indra is within you. Psychic power. Your spiritual body is Indra. So that is Indra within. So that is the message that Buddha wanted to tell Parasari's student. Again, just like Brahma was internalized through his 4 qualities, Brahma Viharas. Indra is given, Indra is internalized, is given by introducing a form of meditation. So Indra used to be a god, he was a warrior god according to Vedic religion. By the time Indra becomes internalized within the individual, he is a pacified god, not a warrior god, pacified. You pacify him, meaning you become peaceful through meditation. Yes.
So those, is it okay to list those 5 spiritual indriya?
Mm-hmm.
I can only remember 3 right now. Okay. Faith, isn't it? Mindfulness, concentration, and what are the other ones?
Yeah, well, okay. So, is it okay to raise? Yeah, let's move to the power of Indriya, Indra. Is Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. So, just like you have your physical body equipped with 5 basic sense faculties with which you can rule the world that you are part of, you also have an inner psychic body, and so that you can develop that as well. And then, so that is when you see that psychic body within, that's similar to the cosmic body of Indra. So Indra is spiritually manifest within you. See the way the fascinating way the Buddha has internalized Indra. And then, so in order to develop, increase the power of your inner body, spiritual body, you need to practice these 4. These are called bala actually, as he said, bala. Bala means power. Indriya bala.
4.
Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. 5. So, what is Saddha? Saddha is devotion, again, faith. I don't need to go through Saddha again, you know what it is. I have learned different types of Saddha, devotion, confidence. Virya is again forbearance, energy. Sati is mindfulness, awareness. Samadhi is concentration. One of the Sri Lankan scholar monks who passed away a couple of years ago, he translates Samadhi as the mental equilibrium, which I like. Probably there's a big word, equilibrium. Samadhi. And then Panya is wisdom. Indriya Bala. It is called Indriya Bala, meaning 5 powers of Indra. Which Indra? Like, look at cosmic Indra and individual Indra in light of Brahman and Atman. Brahman is the cosmic soul, Atman is the soul of the individual. Here, so the Indra, as a Vedic god, he was a cosmic god. By the time he was incorporated into Buddhist teachings, on the cosmic level, Buddhist cosmic level, he is still a god, patron deity, closer to humanity. When he was spiritually internalized within the individual, then, so I am the Indra, you are Indra. So we are Indras. and then, but we don't use our inner power to kill anyone. We use that power to pacify ourselves. That's why it's called in the Bhavana, meditation. So the meditation is a technique of self-pacification. When I studied geography in Sri Lanka as a kid, when my teacher mentioned the Pacific Ocean, when I asked her what the Pacific would mean, and she compared to Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean relatively much calmer. That's why you call it Pacific. That's the first time I learned the term.
It's funny, I kind of heard the opposite, that those 5 faculties are needed to kind of accomplish anything in life,
Yeah.
to do things. Well, I guess I would include pacification too, right?
Yeah, the thing actually, pacification of defilements. Pacification of defilements, so that you become a very peaceful person, and you are peaceful, and at the same time your presence would create peaceful surroundings for everyone else.